All right, welcome back to another episode of the Kitchen Table Podcast, where business gets done. I'm your host, Ken Baden, and today, you just told me how to say this, and I'm so embarrassed because I just had it. I'm going to try and do it, actually, because I know Ron's easy, but I want to try and not butcher this. I feel like I'm not a butcher. Can you say it one more time for me?
Kmetovicz, Ken.
Kmetovicz, and it's literally spelled that way. Kmetovicz.
Yeah, well, the H is a Z, but it's close.
Right, that's the thing that I think, but once you see it, after you say it, it's like, oh, that's exactly what it looks like. It's literally K, but it's the CIVZ that I guess you'd have to be familiar. What is that? Where is that?
It's Polish origin.
Polish, okay. Yeah, so if you're familiar with, their framing of their, like, the V, I guess, is a CH. VZ is CH. Or like a TCH kind of sound.
Correct.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. Well, Ron Kmetovicz,
there you go,
author of Ghost Money, is with us today and has been kind enough to come on. And honestly, Ron, thank you so much for coming on. Very excited to get into the book. Very rarely do we have someone like Ron come on whose sole purpose, look, every time we have somebody come on, it's value, value, value. That's the whole point of the show. I don't just have people on to plug their stuff. They come on, they have value to offer. We make sure that it's value driven for our audience, you, the listener. But Ron's whole plight, and as he just explained to me, is like, hey, I wrote this book for family and friends and to help the youth of today to gain some financial independence. So I really dig it, Ron. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to getting into this. But before we do, can you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got here, what prompted you to write the book, and what makes you an expert on the subject?
We'll take a long story and make it very short, Ken.
I love that.
I started out as a Pennsylvania farm boy. And I grew up in a family of farming and electronics business. My dad was in electronics. My grandpa was into farming. I was an only child, so my main companions were adults, and they were all pretty skilled people. By the time high school came around, I was on my way on a college prep program, and I knew I wanted to become an engineer. So I was off to Penn State, got my engineering degree, and from there I went out to Silicon Valley. The Silicon Valley experience was, I would say for me, miraculous. Okay. To go from the farm to some of the best minds in the world to work with, to some of the best equipment that money could buy to work with. I was in engineering heaven. And I did that for 20 years. Then I broke out and starting a consulting practice. I formed a number of businesses. Time got on and I got older. So at 78, I was able to mentor my kids and grandkids through their money development issues. But I have great grandkids on the way now. And my wife and I sat down, it was about this time last year, and said, hey, we better document what we need to pass on to that third generation from us. And so I wrote the book, Ghost Money, The Pathway to Financial Independence. And I'm out here now. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people I don't know now that have the book. And I want to share it. I want to get it out there. I want more people to become aware of it.
I love that. I mean, that's a very cool story. And you hear that sometimes, like, I was listening to the Miracle Morning this morning. I was listening to a reading of the Miracle Morning, but I'm a big Hal Elrod fan. That's the author, and he's creator of the Miracle Morning. But basically, that's kind of how his whole, gist got started too, right? He made that for himself. Shared it with some of his coaching clients, and then next thing you know, felt compelled to write that and share it with the world. Yours is even more personal. I mean, you did that for truly just to make sure that your family is secure and your grandkids and great-grandkids and great-great-grandkids, and that's awesome. Because I think that the world is in a very unique place, particularly America, where the younger generation, and I see this as a business owner myself, it's like everything costs so much. It seems to be very difficult for young people to kind of get ahead these days and have the dreams that even like our parents, my parents, and the grandparents had, which is like home ownership and financial stability. I don't know. It seems to be way more seemingly unattainable than it was. Would you agree that it is, or that circumstances have just changed and it's just as easy, just different?
Well, everybody is different. Okay. So I can't speak for everybody. Okay. But when I compare what's available today to what I had available to me, I mean, we're talking a long, long time ago here, 7 decades. All right. But there's more opportunity on the table to be picked up and consumed now than there was then. Okay, there's a wealth of good stuff out there, and there are careers to be made. There are occupations to be engaged in that. Hell, I don't even know where some of the occupations are going to be now. I've been deeply involved in the AI work, and that's a transformative event for society. But there's going to be some incredible jobs coming out. So I see opportunity, but I have also been accused of being an optimist. So, but it's out there. I wouldn't be discouraged. That there's always bad news, but if you look through the sea of opportunity and the sea of peril, well, you pick the right path, you're going to make it. You're going to do well in life.
So speaking of, kind of just bridging off of that, and talking about young people trying to be financially independent or trying to own a home, like it seems like a lot of the premise of this book, like first of all, what is ghost money? In my notes I have here, ghost money is income and wealth that doesn't depend on employers, banks, or permission. Can you elaborate on this, like what is ghost money?
Yeah. So you get the flow. Take it in full title: Ghost Money: The Pathway to Financial Independence. Financial independence, in my definition of it, is multiple revenue streams. I grew up with multiple revenue streams surrounded by them. My grandpa had them on his farm. We were doing truck farming, sand and gravel, logging, construction. It was all going on in the family. My dad had it in his TV business. We were selling and servicing televisions. We were into cable television at its infancy. All of these things were going on in parallel. And you wouldn't say anybody in my family was, quote, what they say now, you're rich. We weren't rich, but we were financially independent. Okay. There was never anything that we personally needed or that the business needed to survive that depended on anybody else or a debt payment to someone else. We were basic survivalists, I guess, in that sense, business and personal. So ghost money is having those multiple revenue streams working for you in your life. When I work with a high school guy or gal, they have one revenue stream. It's their first job. And the next step is to go to 2 revenue streams, which is taking some money from that first job, opening a ghost account, and start contributing to it as you go. So in no time, you're building a chunk of financial generation energy for yourself that will propagate with you. It's not unusual. Making 10 grand today to start an account is not hard. And if you contribute like 30% of that 10 grand, $3,000 a year, you'll double that in about 2.5 years. You'll have 20 grand. So it's not unusual for a high school student using ghost money type advice that I offer to come out of high school with $40,000 or $50,000.
And that's, would you say, I'm just thinking when you were saying that, like selfishly, like for me, I have investments, I'm trying it myself, and I'm starting a little bit later in the game, but invest in real estate and stuff like that would probably be, well, based on just what I read, right in line with like multiple revenue streams, investments that aren't depending on like a wage. So for me, like having two revenue streams, but as a business owner, is that still dependent on a wage? Like, would you consider the second revenue stream, like for myself, if the main revenue stream is the remodeling company, but because of my remodeling expertise and success in the industry, I'm also able to consult, and I do that on the occasional basis. And for me, that's what I would probably consider at the time, anyhow, before I read this, ghost money or like fun money, perhaps, right? But another revenue stream that I could even use then to invest in what you would consider traditional, like ghost properties, like a separate bank account or an investment. Like that's truly just, hey, it's extra money to go into investments or frivolous things if I want to buy something frivolous. Would that fall under the same ghost principle?
Ken, I think we're close. Like I'll use myself as an example because I think we're a little bit alike here. Okay, I had a main job. Okay, working in R&D at Hewlett Packard. I was not prohibited from consulting for some of the things I did, so I did that. I'm also I have business training, and I had a peer group that I worked with where we would analyze companies, financial analysis, and we would invest in those companies. So I had an investment avenue going. Then you add to that, my wife worked. We had investment account with her. So we were four or five streams very early on. So when it came time for me to leave the world of corporate America, I just dropped one stream, and then I went on to start my own businesses. Okay, to pick back up. But yeah, there was a hit for a period of time until the new business started kicking in. And I think you're doing that now with what you're describing in a different venue. I'm not a real estate guy, but
Yeah, I do. I have a remodeling, mostly roofing, but remodeling company that is by far the biggest contributor. But the consulting company piggybacks on that, and it's nice because I can even use some of my team here that have been with me for a long time, whether it's specific to the sales part of this business, which has been my area of expertise, or even helping other businesses. But again, it's consultative. It's as I want to take someone on. I love doing it, and I'm going to put more emphasis into it this year. Also because I like speaking on stages, but I also see the opportunity in those arenas with social media and really building a brand, a personal brand, and being seen as an authority in the space. So, but to your point, I would really like to do that, generate a separate revenue stream just because I can, solely because I can. You know what I mean? I think it's smart. Like people are like, well, why would you do that? Put all your time, effort, energy into the main thing. And I understand that, but I think everybody's different. I don't sit well. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I've been sober for years. I like to be busy, and it directly correlates. It doesn't pull me. The rule is if anything ever pulls me or hurts the main thing, then it has to go. But if I can do it, and I can do it successfully, and everything's still, all metrics and goals and everything are being hit, hey, then why not, right? But that allows me then to do more of what you're talking about, which is invest in different ghost revenue streams that aren't counting on a pay wage or something that puts me into, I don't know, that like dependent I mean, you reference that a lot, right? Like something that isn't dependent. Like it says, the problems are identified are dependence, compliance, and predictable workers. Most people that are trapped by jobs, debt, social expectations, or fear of instability. So they don't, they just get caught up in that 9 to 5 mindset, I guess. And so they aren't able to pursue these things. What would you say to somebody who's currently trapped in that mindset and doesn't think they're able to do what you're talking about?
First, you have to, I think the number is around 65% of folks out there are living paycheck to paycheck. The money comes, and by the end of the month, the money is gone. And sadly, too, there's not much a reserve for calamity, and life has calamities. So, chapter 1, I talk about behaviors. Most of the time, you don't have money, or you're living paycheck to paycheck. You have to look at how you're living your life, and you check that out. And if you mentioned the drinking, it's hard to have wealth, to be financially independent. If you're dependent on drugs or alcohol, it just won't happen.
It's impossible, in my experience, and in my experience, it was proven to be quite impossible.
I got an email from an acquaintance from the Hewlett Packard days at work this morning, who shared his book with his nephew, and he told me, he said, my nephew is guilty of sloth, gluttony, and lust. He's 30 years old. Okay, he's not going anywhere, and he won't go anywhere until he gets rid of those behaviors. Okay, so first you move the behavior, and then you develop the skill sets that you need in life to really make a good pathway for yourself. And I have 14 that I list, but of the 14, there are 2 that are at the top of the list. And the top one is to engage in meaningful work, something you like doing. With a high school person, a grandkid I have one that's 16 years old right now. Okay, but these guys and gals, they don't know what they want. When you're 16 years old, okay, I didn't know, you probably didn't know, but what you do is you go out into the world where you make money, and you try a few things until you start to find a groove into the aspects of life that you like. My grandson started off in a bicycle shop, doing bicycle rentals. We live in Lake Tahoe, so renting bicycles up here in the summer is a pretty neat job. You meet a lot of neat people, but you learn the business too. And then he moved from bicycle renting. Well, winter came, it snows up here. So he and his buddy have a snow removal business. Okay, picked up a snow blower. Okay, and they have a pickup truck, and it's been a dry month, but business will pick up for him. And he also has an interest in photography. So they have sites around Lake Tahoe where the people with really nice cars come up here, and they know about this photography service, and they take pictures of the cars in these really nice Lake Tahoe environments. So that business isn't profitable yet, but he's exercising his creative skills. Okay, and he's just one of, anybody can do this, but what he's doing is he's getting out there, and he's trying it, and by the time he's 18 years old, he's got one more year of high school left. He'll be, am I going to go to college? Am I going to go to trade school? Am I going to pick up what I need to know off the internet? Do I go to community college? He's working all those choices. If he goes the route of photography, the world in that arena has changed so much with AI, and his mind hasn't been tarnished by the old way of doing things. So he'll learn a new trick and a new game with his car photography and all the stuff he's doing. So he's positioned nicely, and he's not unique. Just any kid out there can be doing what he's doing right now.
And that's mentioned in the. I was just getting ready to say, like, it sounds like he's developing leverage or leverageable skills like sales, marketing, persuasion, deal making, systems thinking. Like, that's one of the things suggested to do is like start developing those types of skills instead of being dependent on like a 9 to 5. Start developing your ability. Like for me, sales and marketing, persuasion, all of those things, actually deal making, quite literally, all of those things fall into what I do on a daily basis for sales and running a business. And then you start building that ghost income based on those skill sets. But what ghost income, like for me, to help me further understand, or if you're still a little bit confused, my notes on and certainly the author can expand on this, but what I got out of it was, ghost income continues without constant effort. To me, I kept thinking real estate. I didn't see that actually even mentioned really relative to, as much as I would have thought, but continues without constant effort, isn't time, which could be a business, by the way. If you set up a business good enough and it's autonomous, ideally for me, that's exactly where we aim to be eventually. And now that business is self-sustaining, it's very close. Or perhaps I even just plop myself on a board seat and start another business. And now, this business is autonomous. It's ran by C-suite folks. Like, does that then become ghost money? Like, maybe it wasn't at first, but it becomes that once it's self-sustaining, doesn't require my attention, continues to make money, and is ran by someone else?
You're right on track, Ken. And back to my grandson, what I didn't say about him. I mean, this is just a young guy, but the money that he does make, okay, 20% of it is going into his ghost account, and it's going to become a little revenue stream by the time he graduates from high school that he created by himself with a little bit of family help, okay, kicking it up a bit. But he's going to have a revenue stream that's going to run parallel with him. Okay, so
can you help me understand when you say ghost account? Is it quite literally just a separate account, or like a high yield savings or something, or am I not?
What I talk about in the book is I am a keep it simple kind of guy. Okay, and most people, from a stock and bond perspective, do not have the skill set to do individual picks of stocks or bonds.
Right.
Okay, and there's just such a nice way to go about making money and investing it responsibly into some mutual funds. I provided a list of 10 in the book that I screened using AI in August of 2025. That list will, may change, may not change, but you take a fund like Vanguard's Wellington. It's been around since 1929. You make 9%. Okay, it's a no-brainer. It's going to be here for a long time to come. You put your money in there, you're going to get a nice return. And that's all you do. And they handle all the other work. So from a ghost account perspective, you open it up at a brokerage, you pick a really good mutual fund, and you just keep putting money into it every month, every month, every month. Markets go up, markets go down, you keep putting the money in. You give it a decade or two, you're going to have a nice investment there for yourself that will follow you through the rest of your life. It's yours. And if a hardship comes up along the way, you can dip into it minimally to help yourself out. And that's just one. Okay, by the time you're 25 or 30, like you're getting into, you'll have your ghost account, you'll have your main job, you'll have your side hustle. Okay, you're building it all together. It's a synergistic flow. But ghost money, the book is about getting that revenue stream established when you're young, so you know how to do it in a simple mutual fund way. You can't make it any easier because
Yeah, I love that.
the people that manage the money know what they're doing as long as you pick a good one.
Man, this is, I mean, I wish I would have done that. I didn't. So I really felt like I was behind the eight ball personally because, as I mentioned, I had a little bit of a history with substances that really kicked my butt post college. And so when I was coming back from that, I felt like, holy crap, everybody's married with kids and, working on retirements. And, I've got nothing, literally. So, but very fortunately, because I did harness my skills like sales, deal making abilities, and the things that you talk about, I was able to come back very, very quickly in a relatively short time, get into a position to be able to do those things and make up some ground. But man, for young folks, this should be like required reading in school, man. It really should. Or if you're listening to this and you have kids, give it to them,
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Okay. I go into schools. Okay. And that's one of the things that I've done with the book is number one, you can't use math. Okay. Most of the kids in school these days don't have the basic skills to do anything above add, subtract, multiply, divide, and percent. So that if you're a financial guy, that kind of puts a crimp on you. Okay. And if you happen to be one of those people with those limited math skills, okay, well, you can't invest because you don't have the skill set to be an investor. So that's why the book is there, because the only skill you need is find a good mutual fund, okay, and just keep banging away every month, okay, with the money. That's all you have to do. Now, the other thing that goes on is who do you get in high school to teach this material? Because a lot of the teaching population that's out there, and I'm not being critical, but they too are living paycheck to paycheck. And if you're immersed in an environment of paycheck to paycheck, it's hard to break out because you have no role models, you have no mentors. My success in life I owe to my grandparents and my parents. Okay, they brought me through and gave me the skill set I needed, and then the business training that I received. Okay, yeah, okay, that takes me to a different plateau. But most people don't need the business training. They just need to know a reliable path to follow, where if they do this, they will be successful. And that's what I'm trying to do with Ghost Money. Keep it simple, invest in a good quality fund, and stick with it every month. And you will. It's a simple message, but it will work.
Roche missed this, and he's a lot younger than I am, but the whole premise is great for folks like you, young, and just find a good mutual fund, one that's been around for a really long time. He mentioned one from Vanguard. Put money into it every single month, no matter what. Up, down, stock market, doesn't matter. A decade goes by, and you're going to have yourself a nice chunk of change, and it just makes it as simple as possible. And he couldn't be more right. I mean, that would be the easiest way, because people get so caught up in like analysis paralysis and trying to be like day traders and stuff. Like, you don't need to do any of that. Like, just do what's safe.
Yeah, well, the environment that's out there, I will get inquiries from people about, hey, I heard about this stock. Okay, should I buy this? And I just raise my hand. I go, hey, guy, if I tell you to buy this stock because I did the analysis on it and I think it's going to be good, okay, fine. Okay, you buy the stock. Okay, but tomorrow, the numbers I use to determine how good that stock was could change. Yeah. Okay, and I don't know you. Okay, I can't contact you. Okay, if I personally own it and I see the numbers change, well, yeah, I'll sell it. Okay, but that's not the way the world works. And that's what's going on in social media. You're getting all of this noise about buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. You buy it and you don't know what the heck you have. And nobody is going to tell you when it goes to hell. It's not there. And the same thing with, I get into it with people that day trade. And there's one thing I know about numbers, and I've been around numbers for a long, long time. The price and everything is driven by price on day trading with all the charts. And you read this into a chart, you read that into a chart. Okay. There's one fundamental fact. The past never predicts the future in data sets. Okay. Sooner or later, okay, whatever trend you spot will change. And that's going to happen. And when it changes, that's when you lose money for most folks. So trading is a path to limited success. For some folks, it elevates the spirits for a while, okay, until the mistakes start to happen.
Right. And they're very costly.
So, buy a good mutual fund that people that are running it know what the heck they're doing. You're going to have money at the end of the line.
Yeah, especially if you do what you list in the book. I mean, it sounds like you list some rock solid ones like Vanguard. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and check my list, on your own with AI. I mean, it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And discount brokerages, these funds, they really offer a great service because you're not paying much for what they do.
Right.
Most of them are under 0.5 to 0.25% for their management fees. It's nothing.
Right.
And
yeah, but people want the sexy, high risk.
Yeah, and they want to buy Nvidia, okay, at a buck.
Exactly, and they don't want to hear it's going to be 10 years. Yes.
Yeah.
They want to buy it and flip it next week and make $1 million, right? Yeah. Big dreams and big stuff.
The meme stocks,
Yeah.
They've all been around. Yeah, that's not my message. So you don't come to Ron for
come to Mr. Kmetovicz for safe, secure, which is the smart play. I know it's not what you want to hear. I know it's not the sexy play, but if you were young, you would be well advised to do exactly what he's proposing in this book. Grab the book, read it, do yourself a favor, read it. If you are like me and you're building a family, make sure your kids read it, have these conversations with them, educate them. If you're not educated yourself, read the book. We're still young enough to where a decade from now that money could be very valuable, right? Like my daughter will be old enough to where that's going to be very pertinent in our lives. So, Ron, I love your message, probably a lot more than these. All the noise now on social media is the opposite of this. And I know you know that, right? And so this is so refreshing.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I'm saying that, and we haven't even, I know it's on Amazon, but where can everyone, first of all, purchase the book if they wanted to get their hands on a copy?
Well, the easiest pathway to the book is Ghost Money, the book. In search on Amazon, it'll pop right up for you. Ghostmoneythebook.com, okay, is my website. You can find out a little bit more about me, a little bit of a bio, a little bit of a overshot what's there. And if you really want to find me, okay, with that last name that I have, Kmetovicz. Okay, just throw that into AI or into any search, and you'll find the book. You'll find out about me. Okay, it's a fun way to go.
And that's Kmetovicz.
Kmetovicz.
Got it, man. I got it nailed now.
We're getting there,
right.
It's a good thing, and we'll be doing some things together, and hopefully the message will get out. Folks will start making a nice financially independent future for themselves, and I've laid the groundwork for them to do it.
No, I love that, man. I think it's an awesome mission. I love it. I love what you're doing. Guys, follow Ron Kmetovicz. Make sure you get the book. And look, be careful too, because there are other ghost money fiction books. So do not, make sure it is Ghost Money, the book by Ron. You can't miss the last name. So like if you see Kmetovicz and it's spelled Kmetoci, OV. Oh my goodness, I'm butchering this. Kmetovicz.
That's it.
Yes. So be careful not to. You see it and you'll know it's him. The other ones are very simple, but still there are other fiction-based books. So make sure you get this Ghost Money. But the easiest way is probably just going straight to the website, which is ghostmoneythebook.com.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's the safest way. So ghostmoneythebook.com, Ghost Money the Book on Amazon. Make sure it's by Ron Kmetovicz. And Ron, thank you so much for coming on. I love what you're doing, man. I think this is look, it's not as sexy or loud, or it's not Toji or any of these other guys that are doing gambling stuff and day trading meme coins and this coin and that coin. But it's safe and it's really smart. I tell you what, you go do this and then make other extra income that you can frivolously spend on stuff like that, then maybe we can talk. But like, at least do that ghost account that Ron's talking about. You'll be very glad you did in a decade. Ron, thank you so much for coming on, my brother. I really appreciate you coming on here and spreading your message. Before we jump, is there a final thought that you could impart on our audience specific to your plight and what you would want to be remembered by, or a quote you'd want to be remembered for, that you could impart some words of wisdom on our audience?
A quote you can remember before is live where you play.
Live where you play. Can you elaborate on that?
You really want to know, Ken?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you got you. I'll bite.
Okay. I'm an outdoor guy, and I like to ski, mountain bike, hike. You know, if it's out there, I'm likely doing it. Put me out there, and I live where I do all these activities, and that happens to be in the Reno-Lake Tahoe area. And if you can do all of what you like to do where you live without commuting, without going places, it makes for a really, really neat life. So live where you play.
I love that, man. Are you still skiing and doing all those things at your age?
I'm 78 and I'm still doing it all. Yeah,
I love it, man. That gives me a lot of hope.
I count my lucky stars on that.
Awesome, man.
I have to work at it, but it happens.
I love to ski too, man. And I don't live where I play. I have to talk to my wife about that one. That's actually very cool. It's got me thinking. I will say that I do not live where I play, so I got some work to do. I got to get my ghost money up so I can make that happen. But
well, you can also start playing with where you live. Okay, I'm sure that there are things there. You know,
that's true. Yeah, we got some things here. All right. We've got some things here. I'm mostly thinking about skiing, and my wife. We have a bit of a dilemma there in that I love to ski. She likes it, but she's not like that's about it. Then she's done with the cold. She wants to be on a beach somewhere. I love the snow. I love the mountains. I love to ski. I love the outdoors. So I'm right there with you, man. But I'm sure we'll come to a compromise. But for right now, we'll have to figure out how we can play where we currently live. But I'm blessed too, man. And I very much appreciate you coming on. Guys, make sure you check Ron out. Make sure you read the book. And make sure if you have any, look him up if you have any questions or anything. He seems very, very available. But Ron, thank you so much again. And we will catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you, Ken.